All right, so you've got the basics down, right? Select, from, where, how to pull data. But what if you want to do more than just look at it? That's what we're diving into today. We're going to level up your SQL game and look at some seriously powerful tools for combining, transforming, and really analyzing your data.
Yeah, exactly. It's about moving past just asking what's in here and starting to really shape and manipulate that data to get some powerful insights. This is the point where things get really interesting. You're basically crossing a threshold from the fundamentals into some advanced stuff. So let's jump right in with your first new superpower.
Okay, power number 1, combining worlds with set operators. So what are these? The easiest way to think about them is like merging lists, right? Imagine you've got a guest list for one party and another one for a different party. You want to combine them? That's exactly what set operators do, but for your database tables.
Now, when you're combining data, you've got a really important choice to make. Union versus union all. Think of union as the strict bouncer at a club. It checks every ID and only lets unique people in. It kicks out all the duplicates. Union all, on the other hand, is like a house party. It lets everybody in, duplicates included. And here's the key thing to remember. Because union all doesn't have to do that extra work of checking for duplicates, it's way, way faster. That's a huge performance tip right there.
And you can see it perfectly right here. On the left, with union, we get a nice clean list of 12 unique names. But look at the right side. Union all gives us 13 rows. So what's that extra row? Well, that's a duplicate. It's a name that was in both the student and instructor tables. That's union all in action. It just grabs everything. Okay, check this out. This is a really clever trick. What if you want to find, say, all the instructors who aren't also students? Now, some databases have a special command for this called EXCEPT, but not all of them do. But you can get the exact same result using a left join with a where-is null check. This is a super powerful pattern for finding what's in one list but not the other. All right, let's level up again. Power number 2, asking deeper questions with subqueries. Seriously, think of these as your SQL secret weapon. A subquery is basically a query inside another query. It lets you solve these complex, multi-part data puzzles all in one go.
And how do they work? It's actually pretty simple when you break it down. First, the inner query, the one tucked inside the parentheses, runs. It goes and finds a result. Then, it passes that result up to the outer query. And the outer query uses that little piece of information to get you the final answer. It's like a domino effect. So the most common place you're going to see a subquery is in the where clause. Look at this. Instead of us having to go and find the course ID for database fundamentals ourselves, the subquery does it for us. The outer query just takes that ID and filters the students. It's super efficient. And here's a great pro tip. Keep them readable. You can nest these things, but if you can't understand it a month from now, you've gone too far. But that's not all. You can also stick a subquery right in the select clause. This is called a correlated subquery, and it's pretty awesome. It basically runs once for every single row in your outer query's result. So here, for each and every course, it's calculating the total number of enrollments on the fly. It's like having a little mini calculator running for each row.
And one more spot for subqueries, the from clause. When you do this, you're creating what's called a derived table. Just think of it like a temporary table that you build on the spot, just for this one query. In this example, the subquery first joins a couple of tables. Then our main query can just query from that result as if it were a real table. It's an amazing way to pre-process or summarize data before you do your final analysis.
Okay, on to our third and final power-up, and this one is a game changer: functions. I want you to think of these as the magic spells of SQL. They don't just get data, they change it, they clean it, format it, transform it, all there inside your query. Let's start with string functions, your toolkit for handling text. You've got things like upper to make everything uppercase for consistency. You've got concat to smush strings together like a first and last name. And trim is a lifesaver for getting rid of those annoying extra spaces from user input. These are your go-to tools for cleaning up messy text. And here's a perfect example of how you can combine them. We're using concat to join the first and last names into a full name. But we're also nesting the upper function inside. So the final result is a clean, standardized, all caps, full name. Super useful for reports. All right, let's talk about time. Date functions are how you master your timelines. Need the exact date and time right now? That's now. Want to know how many days have passed between two dates? Data diff is your friend. You can even do math, like adding a year to a date with date add. If you're doing any kind of analysis over time, you need to know these.
And a classic example is calculating how long someone's been a customer, or in this case, a student. You just use data diff between today and their enrollment date, and boom, you instantly know how many days they've been around. This is a huge metric for things like engagement and retention.
And of course, we've got functions for crunching numbers. Round is probably the one you'll use most, just for cleaning up messy decimal places in your reports. But for more control, you have ceil, which always rounds up to the next whole number, and floor, which always rounds down. It's all about making your numbers look clean and behave predictably.
I mean, just look at how much better this is. Without round, an average age could come back as something wild, like 34.182759. Nobody wants to read that. But by wrapping your AVG calculation inside round, you get a nice, clean number that's actually useful for a report. So, let's take a breath and recap. You've just added 3 incredibly powerful categories of tools to your SQL toolkit. We've gone way beyond just pulling data. Now, you're ready to solve some really complex, real-world problems. So, what are your new powers? You can combine different data sets together with Union and Union All. You can ask those deep, multi-part questions using subqueries. And you can clean, format, and transform your data on the fly using all those built-in functions. You are seriously equipped now.
So, the big question is, what are you going to build first? Think about your own data. Right now, what's that annoying, tedious thing you always have to do in Excel? Chances are, you can now automate that entire process with one single, powerful SQL query. The only way to find out is to go try it.